Hello, my black and white brothers. Welcome to my channel. I am Alpha Anime. This is What If Deku Had Nen Abilities? Ha, ha. I'm sure you didn't see that coming. Well, you did see the thumbnail. You probably saw the title as well. Shh. Well, it doesn't really matter. This is something I wanted to make at the first. This is what I wanted to make for my first upload. But then too many people made it. But now that I have a more secure fan base, I don't have 800 subscribers. What am I saying? Um, I think I can make this one comfortably. I've always loved Hunter x Hunter, and I always loved the Nen abilities. Some Nen abilities need to be nerfed, seriously. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what if Deku had Nen abilities. So today I'm just gonna list the abilities I'm gonna give him. So I'm gonna give him Jajaken Rock, Godspeed, whatever Theorio's thing is called. I don't know. I'm giving him Shiapo's powers as well. I gotta give him Kurapika's Nen Chains, and I'm also giving Deku his own Nen ability called Nen Pool. No, not Nen Pool. Pocket Dimension Pool. So basically, he just his Nen pools that he has in his fingers and all those places, they push out more aura, so he can have more aura. And then the only thing is that if he uses that aura for bad, he dies. So sort of strong, but not too strong. So yeah. Now let's get into this exciting what if. So starting the series off, we're starting with when Deku was a child. Oh no, Deku's parents, who would be Bisky, cause Bisky's she's pretty cool actually, and who should I make his father? And Kurapika. Oh my god, I'm gonna get so much hate from this one statement that I'm saying right now. I'm gonna get so much hate from Hunter x Hunter fans. Oh jeez. But whatever, it's too late anyway. So, those are his parents. So when he was born, he already had a natural affinity to Nen, because both of his parents were basically Nen masters. When he was born quirkless. I'm just gonna make that very clear. He was born quirkless, and ever since he was 4, ever since he was born, he wanted to be a hero. And when he was 4, his life dream got shattered when he heard that he was. His parents, seeing Deku's despair, the first person who notices is Bisky, because Bisky is. I'll just say that she's about the same age she was as in Hunter x Hunter. So she's about 50. So when she notices this, she goes and confronts like Izuku. The thing is, though you don't have a quirk, you can be more powerful than any quirk user. When Deku heard this, he was like, "What do you mean?" Bisky says, "Well, me and your father can train you in the way of Nen, and Nen is far more powerful and versatile than any quirk." Deku says, really? Then Biscuit says, yes, but you're gonna have to go through some gruesome training, actually. It's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt. I hate myself for making that joke, but you know what? I love myself for making that joke. Sue me! I dare ya! Deku says, I'll do anything it takes. Bisky hears this and smiles, and saying, well, we have to start now. Deku smiles, and Bisky goes to get Kurapika to tell him that they're going to train him in Nen and all that stuff. So, this time, instead of opening Deku's Nen pools the normal way, they forcefully open it because he needs to be ready by the time he's 14, so they don't need to rush it. So Deku, they instantly open his pools like that, and when it's opened, they realize that Deku has a lot more nen than normal people, and then they realize that maybe he subconsciously already had some kind of um, what's it called? A nen ability. So they subconsciously named the nen ability nen pool, no, dimension pool, or nen dimension. I don't know what I called it. I can't remember. They named it nen pool. No, dimension pool. Why can't I speak? Jeez. They named it dimension pool, and they realized that he has more natural nen than a chimera ant. And if you haven't watched the series, you're gonna be super lost by now. When they see this, they realize that they could teach him multiple abilities. And then first of all, they do the nen assessment. Not nen assessment, the nen divination, where they find out what he is. So instead of it like growing like an enhancer or changing taste like a transmuter, it's the water starts to freeze rapidly, freezing the cup along with it, which means he's a specialist. When they see this, they're like, "Whoa, that's really cool," and they're like, "Yo, we can teach this boy anything. He really doesn't need to obey any laws by said by anyone." So they start to teach him normal nen abilities. They teach him the normal nen, like Ko, stuff like that. And then when he's learning Ko, Bisky and Kurapika show him a nen ability called Jajen Ken. So that's the first ability he learns while he's learning Ko. And then he easily learns it because of his nen pools, since he has a lot more. And he's a specialist, so I guess he learns faster. And so yeah. While that is happening, they start electrocuting Deku so they can teach him a new ability. So it takes years for that to happen, but he also learns conjuring abilities. So he conjures nen chains as well. So he has all of those. That's how Kurapika teaches him the nen chains, so he has that as well now. They also teach him a very easy emitter technique, which is called remote punch. So that's Liario's ability. So if he punches anywhere, the amount of force he puts into the punch will be sent to any location that Deku wants. So he learns that as well. And finally, after a few years, he learns Godspeed after being electrocuted multiple times. By this time, he's 10, so he knows. So now he knows Godspeed Whirlwind and Godspeed. I can't remember the second name of Godspeed, but then yeah, he knows those. My head's gonna explode. The last nen ability he learns is Sharipov's abilities, where he can manipulate his body. So now he can manipulate his body to the molecular level. So basically, he could create a little body of himself that so small that it could go through molecules. So yeah, and then they also vary in size. And then so now I'm just gonna get back into the normal series. So while Deku was learning then, he never showed anyone, so everyone still thinks he's a quirkless loser. As soon as this happens, no wait. So he heads to school, everything happens, then at the end of the day, the teacher walks into class saying, well, y'all better fill out these forms so you guys know what career you want to do, so you can go to a good high school for the career you want to do. But as soon as he does that, says that, he throws the papers in the air saying, well, we don't need to do this because you guys already, because I already know that you all want to go to the hero course. Everyone starts using their quirks, apart from Deku since he's quirkless. And then Bakugo says, don't put me in with these low tier useless people, because the best they can do is be some low tier sidekicks that have zero chance of becoming an independent hero. After he says that, the teacher says, "Oh yeah, Bakugo, you applied for UA." Everyone starts mumbling, and they're like, "Yeah, he'll most likely get in." Then after that, the teacher says, "Oh, another student is going as well. Our Izuka Midoriya." When everyone hears this, they start bursting out in laughter. Then Bakugo goes up to Deku and says, and blows up his deck, saying, "What did I say about going to the same school as me, Deku?" Oh my god, that emphasis. Deku looks at him blankly and says, "I don't know, I don't really care either." After, because this time Deku didn't acted how he acted in the original anime, but he was faking, but now he doesn't care. He's done with Bakugo's bullshit. Bakugo hearing this, huh? Oh, so you're gonna act like this, right? You're going to act like you're a big person. Yeah, I'm using my Nigerian English. Well, then Deku says, "Well, I'm not gonna let you come over here and stand on me just for applying for a school. So get off. Lay off, bro." When Bakugo hears this, he says, "How dare you talk back to me, Deku?" Deku says, "Well, I ain't talking back to God, so shut up." Everyone here is like, "Damn, Deku getting lippy, is he?" But then they tell Deku to shut up because like, "Yo, bro, Bakugo is gonna kill you." Then after this, Bakugo leaves, and then after school, he confronts Deku and tries to beat him up. But this time, Deku actually shows his power. Bakugo is about to hit Deku, but then Deku uses Godspeed Whirlwind to dodge and smack Bakugo up the head. He then changes back swiftly, saying, "Yeah, it's not gonna work on me this time, dumbass." After saying this, Bakugo rushes at Deku again, saying, "You're supposed to be quirkless. You're supposed to be defenseless. What's going on? But were you underestimating me all these years?" Deku said, "Nah, I was overestimating you." He then conjures his chains and uses his normal chain, the one with a ball on it, not like the Judgment Chain or the Chain Jail. He uses the normal one to smack Bakugo up the head and on his face, not injuring him and staggering him. After this, Deku creates multiple versions of himself using Shaipu's powers to circle Bakugo. Bakugo starts trying to blow each of them up, and then by the time he has gotten to the real Deku, Deku had charged up a Ganjen fist and punched Bakugo in the stomach, knocking him out. His friends watching him were just like, "Oh, Bakugo just got folded." He just got folded like a piece of paper. Then Deku looks over at them and says, "Y'all want a piece?" When they hear this, like, nah, I'll just go take a piece of chicken instead, because I don't want a piece of that, because if I get a piece of that, bro, you're gonna blow me up. I'm good. Deku suffered minor injuries, then so he uses his nen chains to heal himself using the cross chain. I need to learn the names of this stuff to heal himself. Since he didn't get any big injuries, he easily healed himself. Deku after this is tired because he intentionally went overboard just to show Bakugo the power difference. So later, Bakugo woke up and thought it was all a dream. So on his way, Deku on his way back home was walking under a bridge. Then some kind of he senses something watching him. Then he sees a sludge villain jump out of the store and say, "Hey kid, give me your body." Deku says, "Hey, no homo, no homo." Using Nen to block the sludge villain, and then he creates multiple versions of himself and circles the villain. Then he starts using, while he's basically just intimidating the the sludge villain, All Might, All Might pops out of the hole and does the whole um, I am here thing, but Deku doesn't notice him because he's charging up a gun, John Ken paper, not paper, rock, and when he punches the sludge villain, the sludge is just splattered across the wall. He's obviously unconscious because those Ganjen fists hurt like a lot. Seriously. After seeing this, All Might, Deku snaps out of focus because he sees All Might right next to, just like at the end of his eyes. Is that what it's called? In his peripheral vision. There it is. He sees him in his peripheral vision, and Deku starts geeking out because he's still a big fan of All Might. So he starts geeking out, and All Might is just in awe. He's like, yo, what is this kid's quirk? What's going on? So Deku asks for an autograph. All Might gives it to him, and then after that, Deku asks him a question. Deku asks, well, is it possible to become a hero even when you're quirkless? When All Might hears this, he says, well, that's not possible. But then why are you asking? It seems like you have an amazing quirk. Deku, remembering that his family told him not to tell anyone about the secrets of Nen, that when he heard that, all he said is like, yeah, I know, but then I have a friend that's quirkless, and I don't know what to tell him when he asks if he can be a hero. Well, my hero he feels like an absolute douchebag, but then he obliges with himself. Then All Might says, well, I know you can become a hero at least. Your quirk is amazing. What is it called? When Deku hears this, he goes into panic mode because he's like, I do not Discord. Jesus. Someone emailed here the weirdest picture I've ever seen. So where I left off, he did not expect this, so he doesn't have a name for his quirk. So Deku just calls it multi-ability. You know what? I'll just call it multi-ability for now, but then leave in the comments what the name should be, because I am not creative enough to figure out a whole quirk name for this. After hearing this, that All Might is like, well, I hope to see you at a hero school, or even better, as a hero later in life. And Deku smiles, then All Might smiles at him and then jumps away. While he jumps away, he trips over a building, because he can do that. And then when he trips over a building, he drops one of the bottles and doesn't notice for some reason. Those things weigh like 10 kilograms. I feel like you should notice something like that falling out of his pockets. But he doesn't notice for some miraculous reason. Then while Deku is walking down to his house, he hears explosions. When Deku hears it, he's like, this is not going to end well for anybody. Deku starts walking towards that place, and then he sees the sludge villain acting like a complete douchebag again, and is attempting to attach himself to Bakugo. When Deku sees this, he's like, seriously, I'm gonna have to save this guy? Ugh. But then he notices that there are heroes here, and he's like, oh, maybe I don't have to. Then he waits like a minute, then he sees that the heroes are not doing anything. Like complete morons. Deku runs up to them and is like, yo, why y'all not doing shit? Then they say, because our quirks aren't suited for this. Deku says, well, improvise. they say, well, you wouldn't understand. You don't have quirks like us. No, that's not what they say. And he means, then what's your quirk then? Why don't you do something? He says, well, okay then. When the heroes hear this, it's like, yo, we were kidding, calm down. Deku says, well, nah, bro, you invoked it. So now I'm gonna do it. Deku starts walking over to the sludge villain, and the sludge villain seeing him is like, stay back. Deku says, oh, so you remember me. Good, this should be easy. Deku starts, what's it called? Manipulating his body so he can change, so he can split into multiple different of himself, basically. So he basically just multiplies himself. So when that happens, the sludge, and then when he's done multiplying, he starts swinging his chains to just intimidate the villain. And then while he's walking, he stops, and then he then commands all of his copies to start charging up ganja and paper. Then while he's charging it up, he looks at Bakugo and says, well, this is gonna hurt a lot, so prepare yourself. Bakugo says, I don't need your help, you useless Deku. Deku then says, well, if I'm useless, you're the one getting stuck into a sludge villain, so shut the fuck up. Deku then starts charging up ganja and paper, and then all of his copies send it at the sludge villain, and the sludge villain is just blown across multiple universes because he can't do much when this is going down. Because those ganja and papers hurt a lot. So, Bakugo is saved, thankfully. Then the heroes start trying to criticize Deku, but then Deku basically just makes a small bit of himself into basically the size. He makes a duplicate of himself the size of a mosquito, and then says, well, I gotta go. Then he fakes teleporting by just switching places with his copy, and then when he fakes that, everyone's like, well, this guy can teleport as well. What can this kid not do? Okay, so since that part is over, who do you want me to give One for All to? I can give it to most people in 1A, or what's that guy's name again? Mirio or Bakugo. So pick some of them. So I'll just say all the choices. The choices are Kirishima, Mirio, or Bakugo. So pick one. So pick one of those. Put them down in the comment section. So yeah. Oh, also put the ship in the comment section as well. I don't know if y'all want to harem Deku X Momo. I don't really like Deku X Momo. It doesn't make sense to me, but I don't really care. Deku X Araka, harem, whichever one you want. I'll pick the one that has the most votes. But yeah, after that, so now that hopefully y'all like to put in the comment section because I want to know. So now after that, Deku walks home and tells Bisky and Kurapika all that happened today and how he revealed his powers but didn't tell anyone what they were. They were proud of him for finally sticking up to that stuck-up piece of that is Bakugo Katsuki Bakugo. Bakugo tries to confront him while he's trying to walk home, but then Deku just sends another one of those mosquitoes. Or no, he doesn't do that. He makes a copy of himself and then lets that copy talk to Bakugo while he just keeps walking away. Bakugo notices this and is like, wait, is that the real one? So he just runs over to the second one, but then Deku switches places and starts walking as well. So now Bakugo just trapped in a loop. Then he eventually goes home because he's like, you know what, I got better things to do than this. So yeah, that's how the first day of all that stuff happens. Deku is not gonna get One for All because like what I've already given him is already overpowered enough. Seriously, just having Kurapika's powers here at full power could destroy literally any villain or any hero. Sorry, All Might, but bro, you lose that money. You lose out of that when Kurapika comes into this battle. So yeah, the training arc doesn't happen since All Might doesn't give Deku one for all, but he does train with Krapka and Bisky, and then he learns a way to amplify his his Nen. But I'll tell you all about that one later. It's a surprise. So now let's skip the 10 months, and now it's time for the UA entrance exam. So Deku does pretty well on the normal exam, the written exam, but now it's time for the practical exam. So um, the stuff with Uraraka doesn't happen since he's more confident and stuff like that. But then Deku does see a brown-haired girl looking really nervous, so he tries to walk over to her. But then some smart aleck named I'm just you already know who it is. The blue-haired boy just walks up to Deku and says, "Don't ruin that girl's chances of heading to UA." But then as soon as he says this, Deku just switches places with a copy, or no, yeah, he just makes a copy of himself and just walks around him, and then he keeps trying to do this, but then the second copy keeps getting closer and closer, so Ida just gives up, and he walks over to the brown-haired girl and is like, "Hey, I just noticed that you're looking really nervous. Don't worry, you seem like you could get into UA easily. Not easily, you just seem like you could get into UA, so don't be so worried. Being worried is bad luck." The girl, hearing this, smiles at Deku and says, "My name's Uraraka." Deku then says, "My name's Zuku." Then they hear, "Go! There's no countdown for a real battle." Deku looks at Uraraka and says, "Well, see you later." Then he instantly switches into Godspeed to get a really quick pace. He jumps over to a lot of 3-pointers and just jumps off them, destroying them. And then he says, "Give me your rock. John can scissors." Then he goes and slices a 3-pointer, and then he says round 2 using his paper, and then shoots at another 3-pointer that's about to hit, let's say he's about to hit Jaro. Jaro says, "Thanks for the save." Deku says, "No problem." Deku switches out of Godspeed because Godspeed takes a lot of aura, and then his Nen pools give him a lot of aura, but then he still doesn't want to use all of it, so he could save it just in case. So Deku right now has about easily has 60 robot points, and he has over 40 hero points. He has like 50 hero points for just randomly saving people who are about to get hit. And then the 0-pointer, he takes out a few more 3-pointers and 1-pointers and 2-pointers. So now he has 100 villain points. Then when he's about to get another one, he stumbles because he feels some kind of difference in the ground. The ground is shaking. Then he looks up and sees the giant 0-pointer. That thing's like the size of 2 buildings. What the heck? He sees it, and then he instantly notices that there's a girl. The girl that he talked to was stuck under a bit of rubble and couldn't get up. So as soon as he notices this, he instantly switches into Godspeed, and then he starts running towards her. He starts multiplying himself, making 5 copies. Then each of them starts charging Ganjen Rock, and he sends a few mosquitoes of himself. After multiplying, he then uses remote punch to literally obliterate the 0-pointer, because when you use remote punch, the amount of power you put into the punch is the amount of power that it hits when you hit the thing that you're aiming for. When he hits that thing, when he hits that 0.0, when he makes contact, the thing is just disintegrated. It's instantaneously. Everybody sees this, but then Deku doesn't stop running because he runs over to Araka and gets all the rubble off him after switching back to his normal form and says, "Well, stop giving yourself bad luck by doing these things. Falling is just as bad of luck as being nervous." Deku says this and is like, "Well, can you walk?" Raka says, "No, I think I broke my ankle." Deku says, "Oh, that should be easy." That when Deku says this, Raka looks at him in confusion. Then Deku gets out his nen chains and starts healing Raka's wound. But since he doesn't have Emperor's time, it doesn't heal as fast. But then he does heal it enough where she can walk to the office without limping. So her leg is about basically as good as it's ever gonna be. So yeah, and after that, Deku, after seeing Uraka come out of the thing, says, "Oh hey, Uraka, was it?" Then he asks her if he can help escort her home since her leg isn't the best. It works well, but then if you wanted to run away, it's a no-go. Uraka tries to deny it, but Deku says, "Nah, it's fine. I want to do it because I have nothing better to do." Uraka says, "Okay." Then they start walking to her house. So I'm just gonna pull an anime outlet right now. So while they're walking, a guy comes up with a gun pointed at Izuku's head and says, "Yo, hand over your wallet, your phone, and the girl right next to you." Deku says, "You do know that the girl is not my possession, right? we're not dating." Deku says this, and then the thug is like, "Well, hand her over anyways." I mean, as that, I mean, like, don't protect her or anything. Deku says, how about I don't do that? How about I just crack your neck instead?" Deku's saying this. When the villain says this, when Deku says this, the villain looks at him and is like, "Want can die? Want can die?" The Deku says, try me. I think I can take it." The villain then tries to shoot Deku in the head. Then Deku just easily blocks it with immense speed. Then Deku says, "Wrong choice, my friend." He then proceeds to use Godspeed and just stay in one place because he's using Whirlwind. Then the thug keeps trying to shoot Deku. Deku just easily dodging. Then the villain then tries to shoot Uraka. Deku just catches the bullet and says, "Oh, now you're dead. You might have survived before, but not this time." Deku uses his nunchains and stabs the villain in the heart, saying that, now that I've stabbed you with my chains, now you have to obey my move, whatever I say, unless you're gonna die. The thug here says, "You're bluffing." Deku then says, "Try me." Deku then says, I keep saying Deku then says. Deku says that, first of all, if you ever try to rob someone again, you will die. If you ever lie to someone that's not for a good reason, you will die. So now that I have put those on you, if my chains have wrapped around your heart, so if you go against them, you dead, mate. The villain says, like I'm gonna believe you. Then he proceeds to try and shoot Deku, and then Deku dodges, and then the villain just poof. You can just see the life in his eyes leave his body as blood splatters out of his mouth. Deku then says, "Well, kind of told you this was gonna happen, so don't blame me at this point." Uraka is like, "Damn, that was brutal," but he did try to do a lot of stuff, so kind of deserved it, not gonna lie. Deku then turns to Uraka and says, "Yeah, would you have been able to to take him out with that leg of yours. Now you probably would have gotten shot or something. Uraka looks at him and is like, most likely. And he walks her home, drops her off. Uraka gives him a kiss on the cheek. Deku smiles, and then he walks home. His parents then notice what happened through a window, and they confront Uraka. Confront Uraka. They say, "Hey, is that your boyfriend?" Uraka starts blushing and says, "No, I just met him. He saved me from getting crushed." They smile and then they start talking about it, but I don't have time to get into that right now. So Deku gets home and tells his parents about what happened and all that stuff. They're proud of him, and then after a few weeks, they get the letter and all that jazz happens. I'm not going to go into detail about that one. So yeah, then after that, the first day of UA is starting. It's probably going to be a really long video. Well, that's what I'm going for, because clearly people like longer videos. And by the way, at 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a hand reveal, because people like that, I guess. I don't know why, but then I guess I'll do one. Deku goes to UA on the first day, and then he gets there first, and then when he gets there, just goes to sleep, because he's been waiting for this day, and he's actually really excited. And then excitement uses a lot of nen. Tires him out, because no, I'm not gonna reveal it just yet. But then if you've kept in touch with some of the details, you would understand why. Yeah, okay. Hopefully you don't hear my sister. She's making a scene in the other room. So yeah. While he's there, he just goes to sleep. And by the time he wakes up, Bakugo was standing over him, saying, How did you get in, you useless Deku?" Deku then says, "Well, if I'm useless, bro, you can't talk, bro." I didn't have anything to say about that one. Sadly. Maybe I should just pre come up with roasts for the thing. Deku just looks at him and is like, "Do you want me to beat the crap out of you again?" Bakugo listens and flinches for a second, and then Deku punks him, and then Bakugo falls down. Deku just starts laughing, me like, "Bro, just get out. Just get out of here." Bakugo just goes to his seat and then waits for everyone else to come. When Ida walks in, he sees Deku sleeping with his feet on the desk. He goes up to Ida. Ida goes up to Deku and says, "Take your damn feet off the table. You're disrespecting the people who used to be at the seats." Deku said, "Well, you're disrespecting people with that dumb haircut." Yeah, I got nothing. Bakugo chuckled, even though he doesn't want to. He tried to hide it, but then he let out a little chuckle. Then Ida just sat down because he doesn't want to deal with this crap. Then a caterpillar walks in, and Deku says, "Oh, it's our teacher." Everyone is like, "What the hell do you mean he's our teacher, bro? So our teacher's a freaking caterpillar? Is that his quirk or something?" Then Mr. Aizawa gets up and is like, "I am not a caterpillar. It took you all 8 seconds to shut up. We're gonna need to work on that. Now, put your PE uniforms on and head to the testing site B or A." Yeah, they all get down, get dressed, and then when they get to the testing ground A, they start the quirk assessment. The quirk assessment test. Aizawa throws the ball at Deku and asks him what his highest ball throw was when they were in middle school. Deku says, 20 meters. Like I said, he was holding back all those years. Everyone's surprised, but then they don't really care. Then Mr. Zawa says, "Okay, now throw it throw the ball with your quirk. Deku nods and instantly goes into Godspeed. Summons Godspeed, and then he makes multiple different versions of himself, and then he sends them into the air. And then Deku starts charging up Ganjen paper, and then he uses Ganjen paper. He says, "Now show me rock." John Ken paper. He uses John Ken paper to thrust the ball into the air, and then all the Deku's in the air start kicking the ball around, and then the last one uses John Ken fist and punches it at Deku. Then Deku says, "John Ken fist," punches it once, and then right before it blasts off his head, round 2, punching the ball so hard that the ball's ancestors felt it. The ball, you know what? I don't care. At this point, I'm just gonna send it super far. Let's say it goes 30 miles. See, everyone's just like, okay then. Well, this is gonna be really fun. But then Bakugo goes up to Deku and tries to attack him, saying, "Where'd you get all that power from?" Aizawa stops him, but then Bakugo keeps talking. He says, "Hey, your parents don't even have quirks. How did you get so strong?" Deku says, "I don't know. I just didn't want to show you my power until now." Bakugo says, "Well, your mom sucks anyway." Deku then says, "If my mom sucks, then you should tell your mom to stop changing her lipstick. My balls are starting to turn rainbow." Everyone's mouth just drops. Everyone's like, "Damn! Dang!" Yo, even Mr. Aizawa was like, "Oh, jeez, yo, hold back." even All Might hiding behind the walls was like, "Oh my god. Oh gosh." When Bakugo hears this, he silently walks away because you can't come back from that. Like, your self-esteem, bro, if Bakugo had any pride left, he just got kicked. Seriously. After that whole commotion, everyone else goes, but then since everyone thought that it was gonna be fun, Aizawa said, "Well, screw that. Ain't nobody having fun on my watch." He then says, "Well, if it's so fun, how about something like this happens? If you get last place, you are expelled." After that, everyone is nervous, but then stuff goes on. So Deku doesn't really have to do much. All he really does have to do is just go into Godspeed and on the race he easily gets 0.1 seconds, because Godspeed, he can go past the speed of sound easily. Like, no competition. So he easily passes Ida, and then Ida's like, "Yo, what is this kid's quirk? What's going on?" Grip test, he breaks the thing easily. So yeah, he gets first place. Baku gets second, all that stuff. So yeah, all that stuff happens. Toru starts crying when she thinks that she's about to get expelled, but then Aizawa says, "Nah, it's cool. I was lying, so get screwed." Everyone just is like, "Well, at least none of us are getting expelled." So now it's time for the hero versus villains thing, whatever. So the teams are Deku and Uraraka versus Todoroki and Bakugo. And this time, all of them seeing Deku's power, Todoroki and Bakugo agree that they're gonna have to rush him. Or not rush him, they're gonna have to attack. Both of them are gonna have to attack him at once. And when all that happens, when they walk into the building, they instantly get ambushed by Todoroki, who freezes the ground. Deku picks up Uraraka and jumps from wall to wall, and then kicks Todoroki in the face. Then uses his nen chains to Deku. Then after that, after he kicks Todoroki in the face, Bakugo comes out of nowhere and destroys the ground above Deku and kicks him in the face. Deku tells Uraraka to run and touch the bomb, and then Deku they try to stop Uraraka, but then Deku multiplies himself into two. So now it's a 2v2, and since he's in Godspeed Whirlwind this time, so he made it so if anyone comes close to him, all he does is counterattack until Uraraka touches the bomb, winning it for them. And that's where I'm gonna end the video, guys. This is probably the longest video on my channel. So yeah, I'm really tired right now, so stay safe, stay cool, and wear a mask. Goodbye.